right. All right. I found a new Twitter feed to follow if you like seeing images of, America how it once was, but actually America how it still is in many parts of the country. This one is called Appalachian Aesthetics. Appalachian Aesthetics. And this is an example of the kind of content you will see. I love this stuff. This, for some reason, this picture is so appealing to me. Don't really know how to explain it, but I do enjoy it. I never lived in Appalachia. My mom lives in West Virginia now, but I drive through it and stuff. But I don't know. I just always have. This kind of reminds me of New England a little bit too, to be honest. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but I like this stuff. So Appalachian Aesthetics. Give it a follow on Twitter. Twitter kind of stinks these days. I got to be honest. I think it sucks. It's ever since Elon took over, it's actually much worse. I don't know why. Maybe the algorithm. Maybe I'm just addicted to the algorithm. I don't know. But I don't really do much on Twitter these days anymore. Let's actually talk about something else. I was following. I was reading some posts from Elle. Elle is a noted conspiracy theorist, banned account with a profane name, according to the New York Times, a harmful misinformation actor, according to Twitch, a fringe blog, according to Rachel Maddow. And, she talks about a lot of various things. She does a lot of internet research, and she has a podcast. I've never watched the podcast, to be honest, but her feeds on Gab, and she's actually on Twitter again, because I think she got banned a long time ago. Her feeds are always pretty interesting. So definitely recommend a follow there. She had mentioned a few times that if you want to get a more clear window into exactly what the elites are up to, like what they really talk about, you got to go on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn, they're much more open about their stuff. And I agree, LinkedIn is a disaster. I use LinkedIn every single day for my job. It's a very good database for me to start a lot of my research when I'm looking for particular candidates or potential clients and things like that. It's a very good starting point. So I use LinkedIn very often. But it is a cesspool. There is no question about that. LinkedIn is a complete cesspool. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of, I got laid off type posts, right? And there's a few different patterns in all of these posts. Some of the posts on LinkedIn, they'll say something like, I was impacted by the layoff. And it's a very particular turn of phrase, impacted by the layoffs. And it's a kind of an awkward turn of phrase, too. It's led many people to believe that they've signed a certain agreement in order to get the severance package, which a lot of these companies are offering pretty generous severance packages. Well, at least the big tech companies are. And so they have to either say nothing or say something like, I was impacted. And it's a very passive sort of thing. It doesn't really describe what happened. You got fired, you got let go, you got discarded in many ways. And I think, to be honest, I think that these layoffs were done via an algorithm. I don't think that it was like a decision that human beings made. I think that a computer program decided who was going to be laid off and who was not. And that's very impersonal. It's very cold. And even the way they've done it is very cold. A lot of people, according to LinkedIn, of course, a lot of people either they got an email that told them they were being let go, or they just couldn't log into in the middle of the day. They started their day, they tried to log in, they couldn't, and that's how they found out they were laid off. And obviously that's pretty cold. That's you spent 10 years at a company, and then one day you can't log in, and it's because you got fired. That's kind of messed up. Now, of course, the severance package definitely makes up for that, if you get one, because the thing is, there's a lot of companies laying off that aren't Google, that aren't Microsoft, that aren't Amazon, that aren't these companies, and they're not getting quite as generous a severance package. And so, a lot of people are kind of in a tough spot right now, I think. And one thing I've noticed is that a lot of recruiters are being let go. A lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion recruiters are being let go. And obviously, I know why that is. Of course, they don't. They're thinking that these companies are not committed to the mission, which of course they probably aren't, because it's not really part of their money-making mission. But in any case, a lot of stuff is happening, right? And what I wanted to say today is that, you really have no idea what's going on at any given time. You don't have any clue what's going on at any given time online, anyway. Because here's the thing, like what you see presented online is so often the complete polar opposite of what the truth is. You've seen that picture, I think it was on the New Yorker or something like that, of like a social media influencer, and like she's like, she's like dressed up nicely from here up. She's got her makeup on. She's like smiling and stuff, but the picture is an image of her entire room. And like she's like not wearing pants, and her room is a mess. She's got pill bottles over here because she's depressed. She's got empty liquor bottles over here because she drinks all the time. It's just a disaster. But from here up, what you see on the camera, that's totally put together. So often what you see is the complete polar opposite. Let me give you an example. I know a lot of companies, and I know a lot of CEOs, and I know a lot of businessmen, and I see what they promote online and the kinds of things that they promote online. In fact, there's one company that comes to mind. I will not name this company, but one company that comes to mind that in January laid off a third of their company. So over 100 people. Let's just call it that. I think it's over 100 people, but if not, it's close. They in January. One of the first things they did was lay off a third of their company. In December, mid-December, we're talking like maybe right before Christmas, so a couple weeks prior, they had a post online on LinkedIn about how great they had done that year, how great they had done. They had improved their revenues. They were so grateful to all of their employees that had such a tremendous impact on it. They were growing. They were growing their payroll. Everything was looking up, and it's like if you looked at December 15th, the post that they put online, it's like, man, this company is growing. They're hiring. I can't wait to see what they do next year. They're going to probably double in size again. Their revenues are all headed in the right direction. They're going to be hiring, all this stuff, right? And not 2 weeks later, they let go of a third of their company because they didn't hit the revenue number or whatever it was, right? And you got to figure, 2 weeks prior, they already knew that they were going to be doing this, and yet they posted anyway about how great everything was going. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong or right. I'm not saying that was the wrong thing to do, but what I'm saying is that you, as the observer, you don't know what's going on. You see the post about how great everything is, and you don't have a clue. You need to keep that in mind, I think, especially as you consume internet content. I think that I started looking into a theory called the dead internet theory. Have you heard of the dead internet theory? It is very, very interesting. I don't know. I just started looking into it, so I don't really know what to believe about it. But the dead internet theory basically says that like over half, or either now or in some point in the future, more than half of the content that you see is completely fake. In other words, the people that comment on your videos, the people that watch your videos, the people that engage with your videos, your blog posts are written, all this stuff, it's all computer generated. There's a lot of fake people out there. There's a lot of fake content out there. And when I say fake, I mean not created by a person, right? Like an article not written by a person, written by a computer, and things like that. And so people are getting these signals all based on a fantasy that was somebody created in a computer program. It's almost like a Matrix, like you've seen the movie The Matrix, where everyone's kind of plugged into the Matrix. It's not quite as hardcore as that, but it's similar because it has you engaged and occupied and spending your time and money and attention and all that on things that aren't real. They don't exist in reality, right? There was, I guess, a social media influencer that had, millions of followers, and it came out that she was actually not real. She wasn't even a person. She was computer generated, like things like that. And the dead internet theory says that they've got you all kind of wrapped up and at each other's throats with this fantasy world that they've created. It's like the Matrix, except it's not as hardcore. It's just it's layered kind of into reality, right? So when you engage with that article that makes you so upset about the libs doing this or that, that could be computer generated. It could be a completely fabricated situation, and you aren't any the wiser. You can't figure out whether it's true or not. And it's a money-making scheme primarily, but also it robs you of a lot of your energy, right? It saps you of energy and things like that. And, I've often wondered this too. It's like, when you see like one of your enemies, it's like it's almost like they were created in a lab, right? Like everything is perfect about them. Like you think about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, right? Like her whole backstory and her whole personality and even her appearance, everything is so perfectly on the nose lib that it's like it was almost like she was created to annoy you as much as possible. Even the way her voice sounds, it's annoying as all get out. And it's like, she's just too perfect, right? Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi was the third most powerful person in the entire world not too long ago, right? And you look at her and you're like, how can that be? Because you look at her and she doesn't appear powerful. She doesn't look like she should have anyone respecting her whatsoever. And just like, it gets you all like upset, on the inside. How can this be? How can this be my overlord? You think about all the trannies that are in positions of power and authority, and you're like, how can we be ruled by this? It's almost like someone did it, put them in that position just to put us in a state of anger, despair, and all of that kind of stuff. And I've often wondered, I wonder if they actually do that, if they pick certain people because they know their appearance and their whole backstory and their track record is just going to flummox you. You're going to be so confused as how did this person rise to the top? And you're going to be despairing because it's like, if this person's ruling over me, what can I do, right? The truth is, you don't know what the heck is going on. I mean, was Barack Obama a Manchurian candidate? Who knows? Maybe, probably, yes. Who knows? And so the point is, you don't know what's going on online half the time, right? But that's okay, because this is the thing. People will fall into despair like, well, I guess nothing's real. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's like, that's not true. It's not that nothing's real. It's just that the things that are real, the things that you know about, the people that you know them. In fact, you probably spend time with them. You know what I mean? Or you talk to them on the phone, or you have your Zoom calls with them and stuff like that. Those are the people that you should be putting the lion's share of your time into. Not only because they're real, but also because they're the ones that matter the most, right? Your local community, your local church. This is the church is just, it's like the last bastion of like reality, right? Because we know when we go to church and we see the faces of our friends and our brothers and sisters and our elders, our deacons, things like that. We see their faces. We know what they're about. We know their pain. We know their joys, and we can celebrate that with them together. It's our families. Your kids are real, right? Your kids are real. Your wife is real. Your wife is real. And so that's where the lion's share of your energy and time and focus should be. Providing for them, spending time on them, building for them, right? If all of your time and energy is spent in the internet, you need to come to terms with the fact that might not be real. And here's the thing. I wondered to myself, it's like, how do I know? Like my videos right now, they get like 3,000 views. Maybe a good video will get, 6,000 views, something like that. What if I found out that 95% of those were fake? In other words, and I'm not saying you're fake. Obviously, you're real. But it's without question that there are farms that farm views, right? They'll watch your video for a few seconds and all of that, and leave a comment. At least a lot of times it's a weird comment, but it's not real. It's not a real view. And what would my content be different if I knew that maybe, I don't know, 300 people were watching it, 300 real people instead of 3,000? Would my content be different? Would my life be? Would I spend my time differently? I don't know how to answer that question. But I think the answer is yes. I'm not sure. Very interesting stuff here. Very interesting stuff indeed. What is presented online is so often not the truth, not the reality. And we've got to consider that when we're engaging with people. That's why I think I'm always happy when I meet somebody that I know from online. Like I met Joel Webbin, right? I'm going to be on Joel Webbin's show again soon. And Joel was a great guy, and he was the same guy that he is online. At least that's how it appeared to me. And his family was wonderful. He has a real wife. He has real children, and it's great, and we spent some time with them, and that was wonderful. John Harris, same thing. And then so many of you that aren't content creators, you've come up to me, you've introduced yourself to me, and we've had, short or long conversations, and it's been fun, and that's real, and that's the kind of thing that I'm willing to spend time on. And so, I think, if it was like my audience is really 10% of what it seems to be, and it's you guys, well, I'd still do the videos, right? Would they be different? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But the point is that evaluate your own life, right? Because what they feed you, what the algorithms feed you, what you get all upset about, the latest controversy between, Crowder and Ben Shapiro and all that kind of stuff. All of that is it's given to you for a reason. And I don't think that the reason is because that's the important thing. You know what I mean? I'm call me crazy, but I don't think that the reason they give it to you is because that's something valuable to spend your time on. I don't know. I mean, maybe not. I'm not really sure even what this video is about, but it's just, I've been thinking about this because of that one company that I know was touting their success and then getting rid of a third of their company. And the same thing with these big tech companies and all of that. It's just, it's just amazing to me. It's amazing to me how these things go down. In any case, I hope you found this video helpful. God bless.